All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump in. Welcome in. If you haven't answered this question in the chat yet, go ahead and take some time to do so, please. My friend Len here told us all about what's going on in Colorado. I want to know, how does your team currently review student progress? What's happening in PLCs? What data are we pulling? What are we looking at? This is not a gotcha. I know that we're all doing it. This is more so that I know how to guide you on Newsela in terms of that review. Oh, let's hope my verbiage gets better the further we go here. Half a cup of coffee down. We'll get there. All right. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so glad you're here for this back to school kickoff season. We are going to be focused today on getting results with Newsela. And I know that this time of year can feel a lot wild with everything that you have to balance. You've got new teacher orientations, PD schedules, curriculum alignments. I just really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us and to talk through how Newsela can support you this school year. Now, as administrators, you've probably got a mental wish list as you head into this year. Some of it is an Amazon wish list, and some of it may be a little bit more ethereal, a little less hard to put your fingers on. But it may sound something like, I want to see my teachers actually using Newsela confidently and intentionally. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to walk into classrooms and see students actively engaged with high quality texts that build literacy skills and connect what they're learning to other subjects, a little cross-curricular flair. Or maybe it's, I want to be able to look at the data and say, yes, this is working. We have it. It's delicious. While also being able to really quickly identify where students or teachers need more support. If any of this feels like the vibe, you're in the right place. As we go today, keep those goals in mind, and we'll think about how Newsela can help make them happen in a really measurable way. Now, before we get too far ahead, let's take a step back here. If you haven't already, go ahead and log into Newsela. You can do that either by going to newsela.com and signing in with your district's SSO, or you can start your free trial by going to newsela.com and clicking sign up. Either way, it's going to look somewhat like this. So we're going to go to Newsela here, click log in. And then again, you're clicking through your provider or clicking sign up. I'm going to go ahead and put in a cute little username here. Once you sign in, you should see a page similar to this. Depending on what your subscription to Newsela is, your page may look different than mine today. Never fear, we are working with the same product, so just let me know if you have any questions. Now, while you are logging in, I'm going to go ahead and walk us through a few goodies here. First thing that I want to name is that we'll have chat support available during the session, and we also encourage you to engage with our team there. We want to note that the chat is visible to everyone, so don't fall into the trap like many of our 2020 students did of sharing all of the tea. Everything that you post there is public, so it's best to ask general questions, share reflections, and have just good conversation there. For technical or more account-specific support, go ahead and use the Newsela support directly. That's going to be by going into that question mark up at the top and clicking Support Center. Inside of that Support Center, you're going to find a ton of articles that will support you with basically anything you need, or you can go into chat with support. And if you go into that and you're logged in, you'll click into that and you can submit a ticket. Our support team will then be looped in and they'll respond as soon as they are able. And honestly, it's very, very quick. Final note here, this session is being recorded. So we'll send a follow-up email with the on-demand recording and any helpful next steps. You can watch it if we move a little too fast today, or if you just want to like reminisce on the good times that we spent together. This session is also eligible for PD credit for live attendees, so you'll receive a follow-up email with your certificate after the event. Please allow up to like 1 week for that email to arrive. And then finally, perhaps most exciting here, I did say that we are excited to have you here today. So share that you're joining us on social and tag Newsela or Formative, if you go to a formative session later, on public accounts for a chance to enter our giveaway. All right. So during our time together today, we have one main objective. That objective is here on the screen for you. We're going to dive into your reporting dashboards. We'll look at the brand new filterable standards report, which really tracks that state ELA mastery in real time. Plus, we've got a few practical updates like external IDs in that CSV report for seamless district syncing. Before we go too much further, I want to take a second and make sure you know who's yapping at you today. My name is Sarah Ann. Please don't call me Sarah. My parents were highly indecisive 36 years ago, and here I am living out the consequences of that naming indecision. I'm a customer success specialist with Newsela now, but prior to my time with the company, I taught second through eighth grade ELA for about 8 years in the classroom, and then I stepped into an administrator role for about 4 years where I coached everything from social studies to science to a little bit of yoga. And if you're wondering how that went with a group of seventh graders, you have your answer. It was rough, but they had tree pose down by the end of the year, and what more could we ask for? I'm still very passionate about making sure that kids get what they need when and how they need it. But you and I both know, and so do your teachers, that the only way that that happens is if the adults who are supporting them get what they need when and how they need it. As someone who used the free version of Newsela for almost 10 of my 12 years in education, I really do believe in the power of our product. So we'll talk through how our reporting can help you as administrators today. All right. Now that you know a little bit about me, I want to know a little bit about you. Go ahead and drop a number in the chat to show where you fall on this Newsela familiarity scale. So you're going to drop a 1 in the chat if you're new to Newsela, you're a Newsela BB, a Newsela novice, all the way up to a 5 if you've taken the Newsela Certified Educator course and you have the badge to prove it. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm seeing some 1s, I'm seeing some 3s, some ooh, a 4. Okay. A 2. Beautiful. We are all across this scale. I love to see it. What's great here is that with the updates that we've had in the past couple of years, we'll have a lot that everyone will be able to take away from this session. Keep those numbers coming if you haven't answered yet, but thank you so much for letting us know where you fall. Just kind of helps me know how to, okay, 5, I see you. It kind of helps me know how to frame this session as we go. And this kind of question is really great to ask your teachers at the start of the school year as well. Their responses can help you determine the kind of support that they'll need, as well as like who can be your go-to Newsela champions or where to focus your PD or your coaching efforts. And when it comes to PD, by the way, we can help with that. We offer professional learning sessions for every level, whether someone's just getting started or they're ready to go even deeper into the platform. We've also got countless support resources to share with your teachers, including onboarding guides, video walkthroughs, self-paced courses, and more, including sessions like this. I'll highlight some of those throughout our time today, but if there's anything specific that you're looking for, don't be shy. Let us know. All right. So we, really do love our product, but we love it with good reason. And we always come with the receipts. When students engage regularly with the platform, they're building transferable literacy skills that show up across every subject. We're talking about the ability to think critically, to analyze complex text, and to communicate effectively in and out of the classroom, something I'm still learning how to do. And multiple rigorous studies have shown that weekly Newsela use leads to accelerated gains. Students who read and took Newsela quizzes twice a week saw 4 extra months of literacy growth by the end of the school year. And not only that, but students who use Newsela social studies on a weekly basis showed the equivalent of an entire additional year of instruction on their state social studies exams. If you have ever taught social studies before, you know how not only critical and powerful that is, but how incredibly difficult that is to do as well. So we're really, really proud of that. That's the kind of impact that we're aiming for. 4 extra months of literacy growth, and a full year of gains in social studies from just using Newsela weekly. This is really meaningful learning, and it comes from the consistent and purposeful use of Newsela. So then the question becomes, how do we make that kind of usage easy and natural for teachers? And we have the answer. So we're going to look at a few things here. We're going to go in products. So again, if you have not logged into Newsela yet, go ahead and make sure you do that. But a few updates that we have this year. District admins now have a unified view of performance across every building, and we break it down into these 4 components here. We have active teachers and student counts, which you're going to see right here. Quiz completion rates per active student. And then you can also see content views and print activity. That one is really key as we're thinking about the shift from screen time to paper. Especially, I know someone said they're from California. If you're in LAUSD, you know that screen time play that's just been rolled out, really strict and for good reason. And so you're able to see how your teachers are participating with Newsela, whether it's on platform or on paper. And then you can also filter out by both grade and time frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Newsela here. And what I am going to go ahead and kind of warn you about here, I do not have the privilege of having teachers that I work with or students that I work with. So my data will not show up here. But I want you to go where I go. And in the chat, let me know some of the things that you're seeing. So what we'll do here is you can either go to reports and click into one of these 3. I like to go to admin and then admin console. Again, that's admin, admin console. And inside of the admin console, you're going to find everything that we'll talk about today. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom here, and I'm going to go into view the usage report. So again, we're going admin, admin console, view the usage report. This is where, again, I won't have data, but hopefully you're seeing some on your end. You should be able to see the unique student article views, how many assignments have been created, how many quizzes have been submitted. We're going to look at this teacher data in just a moment here. For my folks who have multiple schools that they are supporting, you're able to see how many of those schools have active Newsela activity. That feels redundant. You can see your teacher activity, teacher's content engagement. As you scroll down, that's where you see the assignments versus prints over time. And then the student usage overview. This average text views per week is going to be really helpful when you're thinking through students logging in and reading twice a week on Newsela. And then if you also want to make sure that it's standards aligned and that they're getting practice with those standards, you can see the average quizzes submitted per week. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to give you some time to look over your data, and in the chat, drop something that seems surprising to you. Hopefully a good surprise. We love a good surprise on a Thursday morning. What are you seeing in the data? Maybe focus on the prints versus online activity. Maybe focus on unique student article views. What number is sticking out to you? Again, go ahead and drop that in the chat. Oh, I saw that 3 and those 2s, and I thought you were saying quizzes, and I said, oh, average quizzes per week. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're able to see those average quizzes. How many are they taking? How is that comprehension going? Surprised by the large number of content that's printed? Yep, absolutely. Again, I had the free version when I was teaching with Newsela, and I absolutely printed everything. It was really helpful. Andrea Paxton, that's because if you click reports, that's all you're going to see there. If you go to admin, you'll see admin console. and that's where you can see like all of those things. Oh, you see classroom data and power words under reports. I'm going to ask Stacy, our chat specialist, can you please let her know what is going on there? It sounds like maybe you need to update your administrator benefits. All right, we'll get that solved for you. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go ahead and jump back in. So we just had that school-wide data that we're able to dive into. Now we're going to look more at the teacher level insights of it all. As administrators and leads, you don't want to just know if a tool is being used. You also want to know how it's driving instruction. And so this data gives you visibility across three main pillars. The first is going to be that engagement, spotting those champions that are within your building. We track unique content views, assignments, and active days. Content views help you know how Newsela is driving instruction because they show you if teachers are actively exploring the library to differentiate instruction rather than just grabbing the first article that they see. This helps you spot those power users early so that you can leverage them for peer-to-peer mentoring and lift up struggling classrooms. Next, we have instruction, where we get to measure that instructional depth. So we can monitor instructional depth through and in this way, it helps us drive a deeper knowledge of how Newsela is driving instruction because it's all about the quality of the text and the text interaction. So anyone can assign a reading, but the depth means that a teacher is creating custom annotations to scaffold a lesson, or they're curating specific text sets for a unit. So it's sort of your window into how deeply a classroom is integrating Newsela into their core learning. And then finally, you can also download all of the teacher tables as CSVs to really help fuel your professional learning communities and your coaching cycles. So you can bring these sheets of data to your next PLC to easily track trends, to align your upcoming formative assessments with highly engaged text sets, and to pair up teachers for targeted peer-led coaching. So ultimately, this isn't just data for data's sake. It's your playbook for really scaling great teaching across your building and creating a narrative for how Newsela not only supports instruction, but for deeper, more intentional conversations about learning. So next up, we have the updated skills report. And I'm so sorry, before I do that, let me make sure you know where to find that teacher data. So when we go to the teacher usage overview, you'll click into view teacher data. And again, your screen is going to look different than mine, but you're going to have, Valerie Frizzle is a fantastic name. You're going to have all of your teachers listed here. You'll see which school they're at. If they've signed into what subject they are, you'll have that information. And then you're able to see their number of days, unique articles viewed, assignments created, content prints, annotations created, reporting views, and text sets created. And again, the way I got this is I was on that usage report, and then I clicked into the view teacher data button. All right. So you're able to find all of that data within there. Now, next up is our skills report, and this is going to give you much more focused, hyper-focused view. It moves us from teacher usage to student outcomes. This dashboard tracks progress against ELA skills in real time. And it really serves two vital purposes in your building as we're thinking about that data usage and coaching around it. First, instead of waiting for the benchmark exam, as much as we love MAP, she takes a minute, teachers can get an immediate diagnostic look at specific reading skills like main idea or word meaning. So if we look here at Sarah Camacho, for example, she's at a 75% for main idea and key details. We love that. That's a hard standard for students sometimes. But when I look at connecting people, events, and ideas, I can see that she's sitting at a 0%, Now, mind you, she's only had 2 questions, so it could be a matter of making sure that she just needs more practice, more at bats. It could also be that she and my guy James here need to be pulled into a small group and have a little bit more in-depth practice. It takes the guesswork out of differentiation in the long run. We know that she and James are going to need some more targeted small group intervention to really boost up that data. Now, for leads and admins, this is your window into curriculum pacing and rigor. It answers a really critical question that we have here, which is, are we actually teaching to the breadth of our state standards? And this is a tension that we feel a lot as administrators, whether it's between the district and administrators or teachers and the district or teachers and the it's always a question of, is the pacing guide correct for my students? Does it need to be reviewed this year and adjusted to ensure that students are getting the full depth of what they need? And also, is the data reflecting that students need as much practice as we are encouraging them to participate in? So if an entire grade level, for example, shows NA or very low question counts in a specific column, you know exactly where a skill is being skipped or under taught, which then allows you to provide proactive data-driven coaching. And again, you're not waiting until critical weeks have passed in order to do it. So whether you're a teacher adjusting tomorrow's small groups or you're an admin ensuring school-wide alignment, this report really helps bridge the gap between daily reading and state standards. Because it is so juicy, I'm going to make sure that we know how to get to it. So to get to the skills report that I was just showing you, we're going to go ahead and go over here to classroom data. And on this page, this is where you're going to see various classes, various teachers. You can click into it and see the following. We've got our average reading level, which is going to show you the grade level of text viewed by a class, as well as the Lexile level. Grade level is going to go more for like that qualitative approach. So what contextually can students understand at the grade that they're reading it? Lexile, of course, is going to be more of the quantitative, so the complexity of the text as opposed to the subject of the text. Here you have reading totals, so you're able to see the unique student text level views by class, as well as the average amount of reading time per class, which is really cool. We can also view how students are doing week over week, above grade level, at grade level, or below. And then the view that we saw on my slide deck there, where it breaks it down for each individual student, shows you their scores, their quizzes, et cetera, and then the reading skills. Again, your screen should look different than mine. You should have students and teachers on yours. And the way that I got here was we were under our usage reports, and then we went to classroom data. So you can go reports, classroom data, and it'll bring you here. As you're going through, if there's anything that you're seeing in the data that kind of sticks out, that you have questions about, that you're interested in, drop it in the chat. Let us know. Be happy to answer any questions or share any celebrations, maybe wander through some of the data with you, but let us know what you're seeing in the chat there. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep us rocking. Would love to see what you're seeing in the chat, but I also want to make sure that we end on time. So another great opportunity that you have within your admin controls is our strategic content control. So there are two main ways that you as administrators have control over the content that is shared with your district. So let's start with the first one, which is content promotion. This is a really powerful feature for driving curriculum alignment. Think of content promotion as an admin tool that lets you spotlight handpicked resources like novel studies, curriculum complements, or specific core courses that are directly on your teachers' homepages. This helps in a few different ways. First and foremost, it eliminates the search fatigue that teachers may feel as they're going through. By highlighting a certain content by grade band and subject for ELA, social studies, and STEM, this will really push your selected resources in the promoted at your district banner right on the teacher's screen. This means that there's less time hunting for articles that support their instruction and more time for that deep and meaningful instruction. It also drives real time alignment. So, this is agile. When you shift to a new unit or a specific state assess skill next month, you can swap out the promoted content in seconds so that everyone stays on that pacing guide. And then it's also one click curation. So anytime that you find a great text set while browsing, all you have to do is hit the add to content promotion to instantly publish it as a custom link for your teams. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on the site. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in a special kind of way here. So up at the top of your screen, you'll either see subjects or you'll see the subjects that you have a subscription to. For ELA, social studies, and STEM, we have what are called curriculum complements. So I'm going to go into ELA, and off to the left-hand column here, you're going to see curriculum complements. Again, this is true for ELA, social studies, and STEM. We have developed curriculum complements that directly complement most of the big box curriculums that you may be using in your district. Everything from Amplify to Savvis to Engage New York, HMH. And so when you click into these, I'm going to click into Amplify here. You'll see that it's broken down by grade level. And if this is something that your school uses or your district uses, you can add that to content promotion so that it will then populate inside of your teacher's Newsela. It'll pop up as part of the homepage here, promoted at your district or promoted at your school. So you can promote that. Teachers are able to easily find it and easily use it within any of their classrooms. And again, those curriculum complements are true across ELA, STEM, and social studies. We also have novel and book studies. This is another really great thing to promote if your school or district is using novel or book studies within their ELA classrooms, because these are broken down by standard. They have articles and videos, as well as write prompts on different themes, different tropes, different big ideas within the novel. But I digress. I just want to talk about novels, if I'm being honest. By leveraging that content promotion, you aren't just giving teachers a tool, but you're actively guiding them to their pacing guide, and you're actively guiding their pacing. So you're keeping the entire building aligned to those district goals in a way that feels very natural and fluid for them. Now, next up is another critical tool. This one is critical for maintaining guardrails and local alignment, content restriction. This is especially important for districts that may be facing a little bit more restrictive conversations from their boards or from the community at large. Content restriction gives districts and school administrators the control to manage exactly which instructional texts and videos are visible across your building. It really ensures that the content that students and teachers interact with always aligns perfectly with your local community standards and district policies. A few notes on content restriction here. You're able to target by grade level. So in your admin console, you can manage content visibility dynamically based on grade bands, which then like really ensures elementary students only see age appropriate materials while keeping that advanced content open for, high schoolers, for example. Um, there's also an important distinction between blocked and advisory labels. So you have two primary levels of restriction. Blocked means that the content is completely hidden from both teachers and students. And then advisory means that the content is hidden from students unless a teacher explicitly chooses to assign it, which then gives educators the sort of professional autonomy while keeping student browsing safe. And then finally, you also have to consider the district versus school control. So preferences are established at the district level. While school level admins cannot override district blocks, they do have the flexibility to make settings more restrictive for their specific building if needed. I'll show you how to get to this as well. So we are going to go to admin, and then you can go right here to content restriction. And here you can control that visibility here, and then go through to customize it as you see fit. And this is what it would look like for teachers as they go through. Something that I do want to note here is that the content restriction of it all, the messaging is really important. We want to make sure that we're not telling teachers like, we don't trust you to roll this out with students, but more so we're trying to protect you in this, in this climate, and make sure that like there's nothing being taught or discussed that could potentially put your license or your job into peril. So it's much more of a support than it is, even though the word says restriction, much more of a support than it is sort of like a slap on the hand. So by utilizing that content restriction, you can really confidently empower teachers to explore the library, knowing that, again, those guardrails are automatically in place to help protect your students and your teachers and align with those district expectations. Whew, we have covered a lot today, so we're going to briefly go over here how to build some data routines within your building or within your district. If any questions have come up as we've been going through, please make sure that you're dropping them into the chat. We've got two phenomenal Newselites in the chat here who can support you with any questions you may have. So make sure that if any questions have come up about promotion or restriction, let us know. So glad to hear that it's helpful. Oh, my dream. But let's go ahead and talk through how to build those routines within your school or within your district. Now, to put all of this together, again, I do highly recommend establishing a predictable cadence for checking your numbers. Predictable not only for yourself, but also for your teachers. The goal isn't to add a heavy lift to your plate, it's the opposite. We want to create a natural routine that helps you hold yourself accountable for checking in on that data and helps you hold your teachers accountable for your students' progression and ultimately hold your students accountable for their own learning. Oh, we love that chain. The goal, again, isn't to add a heavy lift, but like here is a realistic framework of what that data review might look like as you're starting to build out. So weekly, you might consider just like a pulse check. Spend just a few minutes really ensuring that classes are hitting the baseline of 2 or more articles and at least one quiz. This is really important if Newsela is new to your school or district. Just start here. Just make sure that like articles are being implemented, quizzes are being taken, and if teachers aren't doing it, check in with them, see how you can support them in making sure that that implementation is happening. It's really just a low lift way to ensure that the platform is actively being woven into those daily lessons. Now, if you're feeling a little froggy and you want to add on to that, you can also monthly go back in and use that data to inform your coaching. Taking a closer look at those teacher drill downs, you can see how different classrooms are engaging. And this is a great time to spot your power users for peer mentoring or identify teachers who might appreciate a little extra support, a little extra love with that Newsela implementation and or in their skills and standards support. And then quarterly, we're going to look at the big picture. So, right before a benchmark cycle, we're going to step back and really dive into the skills reports of it all. This gives you a clear window into that standard mastery across your building, which then lets you adjust your instructional focus well before end of year testing. So I suggest, test this cadence out, take a photo of it if it feels helpful. If it doesn't feel helpful, don't tell me. I'm fragile. But it's really a great way to let the data naturally guide your semesters without adding another massive task to your calendar. As you look at scaling out this work, I'd suggest focusing on 3 high leverage ways to empower your individual school sites. First and foremost, spotlight your champions. Really use that drill down report to find your highly active power users and then consider asking them to lead, building level PLCs or peer-to-peer coaching. It's really incredibly powerful when you're learning from a colleague. And also, who doesn't need a little sprinkle of joy in their school year? Next, we can leverage that professional learning. So, to build that deep local expertise on the ground, encourage your lead teachers to complete the Newsela Certified Educator course. The NCE course is a great way to put a sort of like dedicated Newsela expert at every single school site. And better than that, it's free. We love free 99. So we're going to go into the question mark up here at the top. We're going to go to professional learning resources. And again, your page may look different than mine based on what your subscription is, but everyone has this option here, get certified. And while that sounds like something you would yell at someone who cut you off on the freeway, it's actually a really great thing. You can add it to content promotion as well. But what it is it's a full course that walks teachers through every component of Newsela. It gives them a 5-hour PD certificate, even though the work can only take like around an hour. Another benefit there. And it also, again, gives them like a really in-depth knowledge of Newsela and all of the capabilities within it. So by suggesting that they take this course, they are getting those PD hours and they're also getting sort of like a distinguished role as a Newsela expert on campus. We also have micro credentials. So if there are any of your teachers who maybe you feel aren't using Newsela to its fullest potential, you can always suggest these micro credentials as well. All right, and then finally, we have that data sync. So you can really keep that data clean with data sync for your macro level reporting. I highly recommend utilizing those external IDs. So this will really ensure that your data seamlessly maps across district-wide analysis systems for completely accurate student tracking. I'd suggest picking just one of these areas to really lean into this semester as sort of a sustainable way to build a self-running culture of success across your buildings. All right, so as we wrap up here, just a quick question to see what landed, maybe what didn't, but what is one way that you plan to support teachers in using Newsela this school year? Thinking through content promotion, monitoring reports, sharing efficacy research, sharing resources like we just talked about. In the chat, what are you thinking you will want to use? Let's see. Develop a data routine. Love to see it. Develop a data routine. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Peggy. Appreciate it. Data routines, especially right from the very beginning of school, so powerful, especially if you get your teachers feeling comfortable with that data review. Talking numbers can sometimes feel like, oh, I'm separating the number from the child. But really, it's just another way to like develop a deeper relationship with your students, knowing where they're at and how you can best support them. So, absolutely, that data routine. Content promotion will be extremely helpful. Unit themes are spiraled throughout the entire section. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Promote option, less time wasted finding articles. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Love this. Great, great ideas to take back to your teachers as you are thinking through this upcoming school year. Working with our curriculum partners and PLC leaders to make sure they are aware of and comfortable using Newsela. That's all we want. We've got so many goodies inside of the site, and we don't want those to go unused. So excited to see all of these different ideas.